Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihi al-Kareem. Amma ba'd. There have been a few questions regarding who is mahram for whom. In other words, who are the people, the relations that a person is allowed to meet openly, and who are those relations that a person needs to keep a distance from. So those that a person is not allowed to get married to, these are called mahrams. So for example, someone's father or a boy's mother, these are mahrams. Sisters are mahrams. Aunts and uncles, nephews and nieces are mahrams. However, when the issue arises of extended families or complex families in which there are step siblings or step parents, half siblings or foster parents, then the issues get a little bit more complicated in the sense that you have to pay attention to what's going on. So to understand it in a simple way, keep in mind that there are three main causes for someone becoming your mahram. Three main causes. The first is a blood relationship. Like the examples that I gave, these are all a blood relationship. So parents, children, aunts and uncles, nephews and nieces, these are all blood relations. So your immediate blood relations are your mahrams. However, your distant blood relations are not your mahrams, such as cousins. So while your uncle or your aunt, like your father's brother or your mother's brother, would be your mahram, or in the case of boys, father's sister, mother's sister, these are your mahrams, but their children would not be your mahrams. Now you're extending it beyond the range of the close blood relations. So that's one cause of someone becoming your mahram. The second cause for someone becoming your mahram is marriage. So when, for example, when a man and a woman get married, then their parents become mahram for them. The parents of the other person become mahram for the other person. So when a person gets married, a man gets married to a woman, her parents are now, her mother is his mahram. Similarly, his father is her mahram. Okay? Now, keeping this same principle in mind, the concept of marriage. Sometimes there are families that join together where there are two people who either both of them already have children from previous marriages, or one of them has children from a previous marriage. So this is where the concept of step parents comes in. So remember one thing, that any sibling that you share a parent with is your mahram. If you share a parent with them, so they're your brother or your sister, and you have a common, either your father is common or your mother is common, that sibling is your mahram. Okay, they're like a real sibling. But if there are two families that have joined and they don't share common parents, so the mother and father of this group of kids is not the same as the mother and father of this group of kids, they are not your mahrams. There are many intermarriages like this. However, if your parents get married, then if you're a girl, then that person who is now your stepfather is going to become your mahram. And if you're a boy, that woman who has married your father is now your mahram. Okay? So it gets complicated, but those of you who live with these types of family situations, and there are people who do, they will understand exactly what I'm talking about. And if someone doesn't understand, come and ask, and I'll explain it to you in light of your particular family situation. So that was the second reason for someone becoming a mahram. Blood relations, the second was marriages, and the third is milk relations. Milk relations is when a woman gives her milk to a child while the child is still young, while the child is still nursing, then that woman becomes like his true mother, in the sense that she becomes her mahram. And her children become like that, if it's a boy, becomes like that boy's real sisters and brothers. So he cannot marry into them. And if it's a girl, then that lady's sons become like her true brothers. So these are three main causes. Keep this in mind. Blood relations, intermarriage, and milk relations. These are the three things that create mahrams, create groups of mahrams. If you're not sure, if you have recently become part of a family that is of this type and you're not sure, then ask someone of knowledge. Now, there is another issue that sometimes people get confused with this, and that is adopted children or adopting parents. So adopting parents they do not become your mahrams. And if you adopt a child, that child does not become your mahram. So let's say someone was orphaned, for example, and someone adopted them. That's great, it's a wonderful thing. It's very rewarding to look after an orphan. Hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, "Ana wa kafilul yatimi kahataini fil jannah." Me and the person who looks after an orphan child will be like this in Jannah. And he raised his two fingers, he joined them together. So it's a wonderful thing, but once that child, if it's a girl for example, she becomes baligh, she reaches the age of puberty, now she has to wear hijab in front of that man who is her adopting father, and she might see him completely like a father, but the fact is that he is not her mahram. And if that family has other children, then she will need to do hijab from the other men in that family. Similarly, if it's a boy, then he has to do hijab from that woman, even though she may have raised him, but she is not his mahram. And if she has daughters other than him, then he has to be careful, because there is no blood relation, there is no intermarriage, and there is no milk relation that bonds them together that would make them mahrams. So these were some of the questions. There was a group of questions like this, so I addressed them all together. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the understanding of deen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad.